before Europe built its great cathedrals, before many of the world's most famous kingdoms reached their height, a civilization hidden beneath the rainforests of Central America was already raising towering stone cities toward the heavens. Here, kings believed their own blood nourished the gods. Every sunrise carried sacred meaning, and the fate of entire kingdoms could change with a single ritual. Tonight, we follow the rise of the Maya rulers, whose names nearly vanished beneath the jungle, until stone began to speak once more. The rainforest keeps its secrets with remarkable patience. For centuries, these towering trees concealed cities that once ranked among the greatest achievements of the ancient world. Beneath their branches lived kings who measured time with astonishing precision, commanded thousands of builders, and believed their own destiny was woven into the movements of the stars. Though silence now fills these plazas, every carved stone still carries a voice waiting to be heard. Our journey begins not with a battle or a throne, but with a landscape determined to remember what history nearly forgot. Long before magnificent kingdoms dominated the landscape, Maya communities grew through careful cooperation with the rhythms of nature. Maize fields stretched across fertile ground, providing more than food. They formed the very foundation of existence. Families honored the changing seasons, watched the heavens with remarkable attention, and gathered around ceremonies linking daily labor to sacred belief. Over generations, prosperous villages became thriving towns, and from these quiet beginnings emerged leaders whose influence would transform scattered communities into powerful kingdoms unlike anything the region had known before. As generations passed, ambition found expression in stone. Each newly raised platform declared that a community possessed both wealth and vision. Monumental architecture required careful planning, skilled artisans, and rulers capable of inspiring thousands to work toward a shared purpose. Every temple became both a sacred mountain and a public symbol of authority. The higher the pyramids reached above the forest, the more clearly they announced that powerful dynasties were beginning to emerge. Soon, these rising cities would compete not only for prosperity, but for everlasting glory. A Maya king was never regarded as merely a political leader. From childhood, noble heirs were prepared to stand between humanity and the divine. Every lesson, every ceremony, and every public appearance reinforced the belief that royal blood carried extraordinary responsibility. Their ancestors were remembered through sacred stories, while future generations watched every decision with equal devotion. Leadership demanded wisdom, courage, and constant ritual. Before wearing the crown, a ruler first had to convince both people and gods that he deserved such remarkable authority. With each passing generation, the cities grew larger, their rulers more powerful, and their ambitions far greater than anyone could have imagined. Across the rainforest, rival kingdoms now watched one another with admiration, suspicion, and quiet determination. Alliances would be forged through marriage, broken through betrayal, and defended upon distant battlefields. Above them all stood kings who believed heaven itself had entrusted them with power. Yet the greatest tests of their reigns were only beginning to unfold, just beyond the horizon. A Maya kingdom was far more than its ruler alone. Around every throne stood an intricate world of nobles, priests, scribes, artisans, merchants, and farmers whose lives sustained the city from sunrise until long after darkness settled over the jungle. Roads connected distant settlements. Marketplaces exchanged goods gathered from mountains and coasts, and royal officials carefully organized tribute flowing toward the capital. Order depended upon cooperation, yet beneath this impressive harmony lay constant competition, for every neighboring kingdom sought the same prosperity and prestige. The Maya understood that memory could outlive stone when entrusted to those who mastered the written word. Royal scribes preserved victories, royal births, sacred ceremonies, and the movements of the heavens through one of the most sophisticated writing systems ever developed in the ancient Americas. Every carefully carved glyph strengthened the legitimacy of a ruler, linking his reign to honored ancestors and divine authority. Through their patient hands, history itself became a powerful instrument of kingship, ensuring future generations would remember who had shaped their world. For Maya rulers, political authority could never be separated from sacred responsibility. Each sunrise affirmed the delicate balance between humanity, nature, and the divine. Ceremonies performed atop soaring temples were believed to nourish this relationship through prayer, offerings, music, and acts of devotion. The king appeared before his people not simply as their leader, but as the living bridge connecting earthly kingdoms with celestial powers. Every public ritual strengthened confidence that harmony still existed between heaven and the world below. Among the Maya, royal blood carried profound spiritual meaning. Through carefully observed rituals of self-sacrifice, kings and queens demonstrated devotion rather than conquest over others. These ceremonies reflected a belief that personal suffering renewed sacred bonds between rulers, ancestors, and divine forces sustaining the universe. Witnessing such rituals reminded every observer that leadership demanded sacrifice as well as privilege. Authority was measured not only by wealth or military success, but by the willingness to fulfill obligations believed essential to the survival of both kingdom and cosmos. No Maya kingdom stood alone for long. Across the forests of the lowlands, ambitious rulers observed one another with cautious respect, measuring strength through diplomacy, commerce, marriage, and carefully displayed magnificence. Friendships could flourish across generations, yet rivalries often simmered beneath ceremonies of welcome and generous exchanges of gifts. Every alliance possessed hidden fragility, for prestige was a prize no king willingly surrendered. Beyond the distant trees, powerful cities were already preparing to challenge one another, setting the stage for struggles that would shape centuries of Maya history. Among the great kingdoms of the Maya, few cities inspired greater admiration than Tikal. Its soaring temples proclaimed extraordinary confidence, while its rulers carefully cultivated prestige through diplomacy, trade, ceremony, and military strength. Every new monument celebrated a royal achievement, reminding visitors that this city stood among the most influential powers of the lowland world. Yet prominence carried its own burden. The higher a kingdom climbed, the more rivals watched with growing concern, quietly searching for opportunities to challenge its remarkable ascent. Far to the north, another great kingdom watched events unfold with equal ambition. Calakmul possessed impressive wealth, influential allies, and rulers determined to shape the political landscape of the Maya world. Rather than seeking dominance through force alone, its kings carefully built networks of loyal cities extending across remarkable distances. Alliances became powerful instruments, often proving just as valuable as armies. Soon, two extraordinary capitals would find themselves competing for influence over countless neighboring kingdoms. transforming diplomacy into an invisible battlefield. Diplomacy among the Maya demanded extraordinary patience. Royal marriages united powerful dynasties. Gifts reinforced mutual respect, and carefully worded agreements shaped the future of entire regions. Every visit between rulers carried layers of meaning understood by experienced nobles and scribes alike. A generous exchange today might prevent conflict tomorrow, or merely postpone it until circumstances changed. Beneath ceremonies rich with beauty and tradition, every kingdom quietly measured the balance of power, aware that friendship often rested upon fragile foundations. Commerce connected the Maya world as surely as royal bloodlines. Merchants carried valuable goods across rivers, forests, and rugged landscapes, linking distant kingdoms through steady exchange. Obsidian arrived from volcanic highlands, marine shells traveled inland from distant coasts, and precious jade passed through many hands before reaching royal workshops. Every successful journey strengthened relationships between cities and enriched their rulers. Yet wherever wealth accumulated, ambition followed closely behind, tempting neighboring kingdoms to seek greater influence over prosperous trade routes. The age of powerful kingdoms had fully arrived. Across the Maya lowlands, rulers celebrated prosperity, commissioned magnificent monuments, and strengthened alliances that seemed capable of lasting generations. Yet beneath this remarkable flourishing, tensions quietly intensified. Great cities now stood within a delicate web of competing ambitions, where prestige could never remain unchallenged for long. Before many seasons had passed, diplomacy would yield to confrontation, and the ambitions of kings would draw the Maya world toward conflicts remembered in stone for centuries afterward. Before armies ever marched, wars often began with careful conversations. Maya rulers depended upon trusted advisors who interpreted alliances, evaluated distant kingdoms, and weighed every decision against generations of experience. A careless choice could weaken an entire dynasty, while patience might preserve peace for decades. Every messenger arriving from another city carried news capable of changing the future. Within these palace walls, diplomacy and strategy became inseparable, for wise kings understood that the greatest victories were sometimes won long before warriors entered the battlefield. Across the Maya world, information traveled with remarkable speed, despite the vast forests separating rival kingdoms. Trusted messengers memorized diplomatic speeches, carried sacred gifts, and delivered commands whose importance could shape the destiny of thousands. Every journey required endurance, discretion, and unwavering loyalty. Their footsteps connected royal courts separated by many days of travel, allowing distant rulers to negotiate alliances or prepare defenses before danger reached their own gates. In silence, these travelers stitched together the political fabric of an entire civilization. Prosperity strengthened kingdoms as surely as their armies. The marketplace brought together distant cultures, valuable resources, and ideas that traveled alongside merchants. Here, noble households acquired precious materials that reflected prestige, while ordinary families exchanged goods essential for daily life. Every successful season enriched the royal treasury through tribute and commerce, allowing rulers to commission larger temples and sponsor increasingly elaborate ceremonies. Yet wealth also attracted envy. As cities flourished, neighboring kingdoms watched carefully, measuring opportunity with patient eyes. Every Maya dynasty depended upon more than the strength of its reigning king. The future rested upon careful preparation of the next generation. Young heirs learned history, ceremony, diplomacy, and warfare while observing experienced rulers navigate the burdens of power. They inherited not merely a throne, but centuries of expectation preserved in stone monuments and sacred tradition. Each succession offered hope for renewed greatness, yet uncertainty always lingered. A capable heir could elevate a kingdom, while an unprepared one risked unraveling everything that had been built before. Above every Maya kingdom stretched a sky believed to reveal the rhythm of creation itself. Astronomers observed celestial movements with astonishing precision, recording patterns that guided ceremonies, agriculture, royal events, and the timing of sacred rituals. Kings looked upward, not simply with wonder, but with profound responsibility, believing the heavens offered signs requiring careful interpretation. As the stars completed their silent journeys across the night, they seemed to promise both opportunity and warning. Soon, earthly ambition would collide with destinies written beneath these ancient skies. No kingdom remains unchallenged forever. As Tikal's influence expanded across the Maya lowlands, neighboring rulers carefully watched every diplomatic triumph and every newly erected monument. Prestige itself became a source of rivalry, encouraging ambitious kings to seek alliances that might shift the balance of power. Victories were remembered for generations, but so were insults and forgotten promises. Across the forests, powerful courts quietly prepared for a struggle that would not be decided by a single battle, but through decades of patient strategy, calculated alliances, and determined ambition. Calakmul answered growing competition with remarkable patience rather than haste. Its rulers cultivated friendships among numerous neighboring cities, weaving together one of the most influential alliance networks in Maya history. Every marriage, diplomatic visit, and ceremonial exchange strengthened relationships extending far beyond the city's own borders. Influence did not always require conquest. Sometimes it grew through trust carefully earned over many generations. Yet such alliances demanded constant attention, for loyalty could change as quickly as the fortunes of the kings themselves. Marriage among Maya royalty carried responsibilities extending far beyond family. A single union could strengthen peace between rival kingdoms, secure valuable trade routes, or reshape the political landscape for generations. Royal daughters traveled far from their childhood homes, bringing with them traditions, influence, and enduring connections between distant courts. These ceremonies celebrated harmony, yet every alliance also reflected careful negotiation. Beneath joyful music and magnificent feasts rested the understanding that the stability of entire kingdoms might depend upon the success of one carefully arranged marriage. The greatness of a Maya king was preserved not only through memory, but through extraordinary craftsmanship. Skilled artisans transformed stone, jade, shell, and clay into lasting symbols of royal authority. Their masterpieces celebrated victories, honored ancestors, and conveyed sacred beliefs that united entire communities. Every carved monument became both a work of art and a historical record, carrying messages across centuries. Even today, these remarkable creations continue to reveal names, relationships, and events that might otherwise have disappeared beneath the forests forever. For many years, diplomacy delayed open conflict, but rivalry continued to deepen beneath every ceremonial exchange. The ambitions of great kings could not remain contained forever. Wealth, influence, and prestige inspired increasingly bold decisions, while trusted alliances slowly hardened into opposing spheres of power. Across the Maya lowlands, rulers prepared for uncertain days with cautious determination. The forests remained peaceful, Yet beneath their towering canopy, history was approaching a decisive turning point that would forever transform the balance between the greatest Maya kingdoms. War among the Maya was rarely driven by simple conquest. Victories strengthened royal legitimacy, expanded political influence, and demonstrated that the gods continued to favor a ruler's reign. Capturing important nobles often held greater value than occupying distant territory, for prisoners carried immense symbolic importance during ceremonies celebrating triumph. Every campaign required careful planning, reliable allies, and experienced leadership. As rival kingdoms strengthened their armies, generations of uneasy competition finally began to give way to open confrontation. Preparation often determined the outcome long before opposing armies met. Experienced commanders studied familiar landscapes, calculated travel routes, and considered the loyalty of neighboring cities. Reliable intelligence proved just as valuable as courage, while trusted messengers carried instructions between scattered allies. Every decision reflected the understanding that a single mistake could threaten an entire dynasty. Although kings stood at the center of these campaigns, victory always depended upon countless individuals whose names would never appear upon the monuments they helped create. When rival kingdoms finally met in battle, the encounter represented far more than a contest of arms. Every warrior understood that the honor of ancestors, rulers, and cities rested upon the outcome. Military success strengthened political authority throughout the region, while defeat invited uncertainty among allies and subjects alike. Although conflict could be fierce, campaigns were usually limited in scale compared with later empires, focusing upon strategic objectives rather than complete destruction. Even so, the consequences of victory or failure echoed across generations. A successful campaign transformed more than political boundaries. It affirmed the confidence of the people, strengthened the authority of the king, and inspired artisans to carve new monuments celebrating the achievement. Public ceremonies honored both the living and the ancestors believed to guide the kingdom's destiny. Yet every victory carried fresh responsibilities. Newly strengthened rulers faced greater expectations from allies, subjects, and neighboring kingdoms alike. Success elevated a dynasty, but it also ensured that future rivals would watch its growing power with renewed determination. Stone remembered what human voices eventually forgot. Each monument preserved the names of rulers, the victories they celebrated, and the sacred ceremonies that affirmed their right to govern. These inscriptions reveal not isolated events, but an interconnected world where every triumph influenced another kingdom beyond the horizon. Yet history rarely follows a straight path. Even as powerful dynasties reached remarkable heights, new generations inherited increasingly complex challenges. The greatest era of Maya kings had not yet reached its fullest glory, or its most difficult trials. Not every Maya kingdom sought greatness through military strength alone. Some rulers pursued a different legacy, one measured in architecture, scholarship, diplomacy, and devotion to the sacred order. Palenque became one of the finest examples of this ambition. Its monuments celebrated kings not simply as conquerors, but as guardians of knowledge and tradition. Here, royal authority was expressed through beauty as much as power, reminding neighboring cities that lasting prestige could be earned through wisdom as well as victory. Every monumental building represented years of careful planning and extraordinary cooperation. Architects considered the movement of the sun, the surrounding landscape, and the ceremonial needs of future generations before placing the first stone. Skilled craftsmen transformed raw limestone into graceful facades that reflected both technical mastery and sacred symbolism. These structures were never intended as simple monuments. They were living stages where rulers performed ceremonies, welcomed allies, and reinforced the enduring relationship between the kingdom, its ancestors, and the heavens above. For Maya kings, the heavens offered more than inspiration. The predictable movements of celestial bodies affirmed that order existed within the universe, and earthly rulers sought to reflect that same harmony in their own kingdoms. Astronomers refined generations of observations, allowing ceremonies to unfold according to carefully preserved traditions. Their remarkable knowledge strengthened royal legitimacy, demonstrating that wise leadership depended upon understanding both the world beneath one's feet and the sky stretching endlessly overhead. The Maya ball game carried meaning far beyond athletic competition. Played within carefully designed ceremonial spaces, it reflected ideas about balance, honor, and the enduring relationship between life, sacrifice, and renewal. Kings frequently sponsored these events, recognizing their importance in strengthening community identity and expressing sacred traditions shared across the Maya world. Every match united spectators through ritual and spectacle, reminding all who gathered that earthly contests often mirrored deeper struggles believed to shape the cosmos itself. By now, the Maya world had reached an extraordinary height of achievement. Great cities flourished across the lowlands, connected through commerce, diplomacy, scholarship, and shared traditions. Their rulers commissioned magnificent architecture, preserved history in carved stone, and governed societies displaying remarkable sophistication. To those living within these thriving kingdoms, such prosperity may have seemed destined to continue indefinitely. Yet history often changes quietly before it changes suddenly. Beyond the flourishing cities, subtle pressures were beginning to emerge, pressures that future generations would struggle to understand. The greatness of Maya kings rested upon foundations far humbler than carved stone or royal ceremony. Every palace depended upon fertile fields, dependable harvests, and countless families whose daily labor sustained the kingdom. Farmers adapted skillfully to diverse landscapes, building terraces, managing water, and cultivating maize, beans, and squash with remarkable knowledge passed through generations. Their success nourished cities, supported artisans, and filled royal storehouses. Even the mightiest ruler understood that prosperity ultimately began in the soil beneath ordinary footsteps. Nature shaped every civilization, no matter how powerful its rulers believed themselves to be. Periods of changing rainfall demanded resilience, careful planning, and wise management of precious resources. The Maya had long mastered sophisticated systems for collecting and storing water, allowing many cities to endure difficult seasons. Yet environmental challenges placed increasing pressure upon growing populations. While no single hardship determined the future, each tested the ability of kings to maintain confidence, stability, and the delicate balance between people, landscape, and sacred responsibility. As kingdoms matured, leadership became increasingly complex. Each generation inherited responsibilities shaped by centuries of tradition, while also confronting challenges unique to its own time. Wise rulers balanced the expectations of nobles, priests, merchants, and farming communities, recognizing that stability depended upon cooperation across every level of society. Decisions made within palace walls influenced distant villages, trade routes, and diplomatic relationships. Authority remained impressive, but maintaining unity required greater patience and wisdom than ever before. History rarely changes in a single dramatic moment. More often, transformation arrives gradually, almost unnoticed by those living through it. Some Maya cities continued to prosper, while others experienced shifting populations, changing political fortunes, and reduced monumental construction. Archaeologists now understand that these patterns unfolded differently from one kingdom to another, reminding us that the Maya world was never a single empire, following one shared destiny. Its story was far richer, more varied, and deeply human. As generations came and went, many magnificent cities gradually fell silent. Forests reclaimed plazas where kings had once addressed thousands, and roots embraced monuments that still carried the names of remarkable dynasties. Yet the Maya people did not vanish. Their descendants continued to preserve languages, traditions, and cultural knowledge across Mesoamerica, carrying forward a heritage far older than the abandoned temples hidden beneath the trees. The kingdoms changed, but the civilization itself endured beyond the rise and fall of its greatest capitals. For centuries, many of the great Maya cities remained hidden beneath forests that faithfully guarded their memories. Local communities never forgot these sacred places, yet much of the wider world knew little of the remarkable civilization that had flourished here. As careful exploration and archaeology expanded, forgotten monuments began to reveal their stories once more. Every newly uncovered inscription added another voice to history, allowing long silent kings to speak again through the patient work of those determined to understand the past. One of the greatest breakthroughs in Maya history came not through buried treasure, but through language itself. Patient scholars gradually deciphered the intricate hieroglyphic script, transforming silent monuments into vivid historical records. Kings once known only by mysterious images regained their names, families, victories, and ambitions. The stones revealed political rivalries, royal ceremonies, and dynastic histories that had remained unread for centuries. Piece by piece, an extraordinary civilization stepped out from myth and returned to the historical record with remarkable clarity. Even today, the Maya continue to surprise us. Modern technology has revealed enormous networks of cities, roads, agricultural systems, and ceremonial complexes concealed beneath dense rainforest. These discoveries remind us that what survives above ground represents only part of a much larger world. Every new survey reshapes our understanding of Maya society, demonstrating the extraordinary scale, organization, and resilience achieved by generations of rulers, builders, farmers, and scholars working together across centuries. The story of the Maya did not end when many ancient capitals grew quiet. Millions of Maya people continue to live across Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador, preserving languages, customs, knowledge, and traditions whose roots reach deep into antiquity. Their heritage reminds us that civilizations cannot be measured only by abandoned monuments. They also endure through living communities, shared memory, and cultural identity, carried faithfully from one generation to the next across centuries of remarkable resilience. The Maya kings sought immortality through stone, ceremony, and memory. Their kingdoms rose from forests, shaped remarkable cities, advanced knowledge of writing and astronomy, forged powerful dynasties, and left behind monuments that continue to inspire wonder. Though their political landscape transformed with time, their achievements remain woven into the story of human civilization. As darkness gently settles over these ancient temples once again, The voices of forgotten rulers seem to whisper through the trees, not asking to be remembered with myth, but understood through history itself.